good afternoon. We're joined here with Dr. Kovin Naidoo. He is the interim CEO of the Brian Holden Institute and is originally from South Africa. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And so far, are you enjoying the first World Congress?
It is. It was an idea that I'd raised with the governing board of WCO a couple of years ago, and was very supported by four of us. And we had this dream that we could bring together optometrists from around the world and create a sense of a global community in a very substantive way. And what has happened here in Medellin has exceeded our expectations of what it could be as the first one. You know, we thought we'd have 1,500 people here. We have close to 3,000. The atmosphere, the enthusiasm from the optometrists, the depth of the discussions that are happening both at a clinical, public health, education level is just astounding.
So of course, when you go to a meeting now you have more work to do when you go home.
Absolutely. Wish I didn't, but this is one of the bits of work that I would like to do, because I think we have to build on the momentum of the first one. I'm going to continue serving as a Congress chair. It's now become a permanent portfolio on the executive of WCO. And we want to start from now preparing for India to make sure that the next one in India is a greater participation and can carry forward the momentum that has been created.
As the interim CEO of the Brian Holden Institute, can you introduce what is the Institute? What does it do? What is its purpose?
If you want one sentence, I would say that we're the world's leading social enterprise in eye care. And why social enterprise? Because we have a research division that develops knowledge, which we then register and those as patents. We then commercialize that knowledge by selling that rights to other companies, the mainstream companies, etc. And the income that's generated from that is used to promote our public health and education program, like supporting the establishment of vision centers in underserved areas, or developing integrated eye health systems in the district health systems of governments, or setting up child eye health programs through our Children's Vision campaign. And then also in education is to promote through our Brian Holden Vision Institute Academy continuing education for the profession that will ensure that the quality of care is better. And secondly, the establishment of schools of optometry like in Malawi, Mozambique, Eritrea, Mali, Guyana, or many other places. We've supported the establishment of schools.
So in the establishment of the schools, how many graduates do you think have come through so far?
Well, the first school was Malawi, that we really, started off with a blank sheet and developed. And they've just now got the third batch is due to come out, and about 30, somewhere close between 30 and 40 graduates have come out. But the idea is that each of these schools are built to a size that in the first couple of years they take very few graduates and then they ramp it up. And ramp it up will mean between 20 and 30 a year per intake, which means that 30 graduates per annum will come out from those countries. Because they're small countries and it makes a sense in terms of what their human resource needs. The last thing we want to do is to take people out of poverty, train them and put them back in poverty with no jobs. So we wanted to strike a balance between what the human resource needs of the country is, as well as what the human resource projections of the country.
And the programs are both optometrists, but also ophthalmic technicians, correct?
Yes, in specific countries, and that's influenced by the needs and the law. So in countries like Malawi, we have an ophthalmic technician, an optometry technician program, and essentially it's somebody who does refraction and basic eye detection. And the idea is that they come out after 2 or 3 years and they can quickly get into the public sector with a very defined role. However, they are allowed then to go into the 4-year program, which is in Zuzu University in the same country, and transfer with their credits and continue to become a fully fledged optometrist at a later stage. It's a strategy to balance the needs of society with the need to develop a highly trained profession. It's also a very good strategy to address the fact that optometrists, the role of optometrists in some societies is being questioned because we are not producing the appropriate human resources at the pace that we're supposed to.
what do you see as the barriers to for the schools to be ramping up to reach their full potential?
Well, the biggest thing is the faculty. Our strategy is the Brian Holden Vision Institute, together with its partners, will raise money initially to bring in faculty from overseas. Over a period, we then, as the first graduates come out, we recruit them, get them into master's programs, get them into faculty development programs, and over a period, they take over till eventually no expat faculty will be there. And a lot of those expat faculty, fortunately, develop such good skills working in underserved societies. And how do you educate? They apply and move to other countries where we are supporting programs. So we're hoping that the machinery can work in that way, because these are young people who are often giving society, making a fantastic contribution by leaving their countries and moving to another country, but are also becoming very skilled educators who can produce top quality optometrists under difficult conditions. So the biggest challenge is getting that pipeline going, getting the local faculty ready on time, etc. And it costs a lot to do that. Finding scholarships. We mistakenly assume that it's such a noble thing to do, that when we approach optometry institutions in the developed world, they'll be opening their arms and saying, give us one and we'll give them a scholarship and we'll do this. The world is much more real. Most institutions come back and say, we can take them, but we got no budget, you'll have to pay, So that's a big limitation that we face. The second thing is that in some situations, there is a challenge around clinical facilities, but fortunately, almost all, if not all our schools, have been supported by national eye care coordinators, by government, by even ophthalmologists locally, and often the national eye care coordinators are ophthalmologists, and we have such good relations with them that the role of optometry is not seen as a political act. It's seen as that you can't deliver eye care services to a society if you don't have a proper healthcare team, IL team. And in fact, one of our graduates approached us and said, I'm coming under a lot of pressure from the ophthalmologists. And we thought, oh God, we're having a problem. And he said they want us to do more things, not less things, because they're saying there's only few of us in the country. It doesn't make sense for us to do that. And they are training them. And I think that's where the Africa, parts of Asia, the developing world in general need to go. That scope must not be about, hey, this is happening in the US, we need to do it. Scope must be about, this is what is needed for our people and we need to do it. And in fact, I just learned in Malawi situation, an optometrist was chosen by the ophthalmologist and sent to London to learn laser surgery for diabetic retinopathy, because that's what the need dictated, right? So I think that talking about people's needs can promote this profession and its role much better than talking about our needs as an optometrist in the profession. So it's a challenge to get people to understand us in this environment, to work together, but overall, because at the beginning we brought everyone to the table, that is going quite well. Answered more than your question.
Oh, wonderful. I love the approach of tailoring the program to the needs of the country versus putting in a program and saying, this is how it's going to be, you figure out how to make it happen. Absolutely. Now, what is the relationship between the Institute and the WCO?
To be quite frank, when we first started, I think the WCO leadership and some of the members were very skeptical about this. Because we argued from day one, and I was often the one responsible for doing that, was on behalf of the Institute. I was going around raising this argument that we must work with nurses, optometry technicians, equivalent of that, ophthalmic nurses, optometry, etc. Because if we went to a country now and said you need optometry and don't have a plan, and the minister then asks you a question, when will optometry be available to me? You'll say the first optometrist will come out in maybe 6 years, once the school's set up, etc. When will I have enough to serve my people? Maybe 50 years, right? You've got a big challenge. So we then trained ophthalmic nurses and others to do refraction within their jobs. And why we did that was they won't go into private practice and compete with optometrists or be an independent profession because they're nurses and they do a whole range of them. And it made sense to them to avoid all this conflict. And it took a time for WCO members to understand that. When they did understand that, and when we moved to the next phase and started setting up schools of optometry and doing all of that, our relationship with the WCO is strengthening immensely. And I think we've had very good leadership. People like Bob Shipdal, Tone Garas, Susan Cooper, and now Woodward coming through. People that had the vision to see society, WCO in the context of society rather than society in the context of WCO, which was a narrow worldview that we've had in the past. So as a result, our relationship was strengthened. So within the regions now, we work with the regional councils, we conduct faculty training, so the AFCO or APCO, the RE-ELDO become members and partners of that process. They contribute some things, we contribute something, but we bring all our training materials, everything into that. We serve on committees and contribute at a global level to WCO. And wherever it's possible for us to work with WCO, we are strengthening that. Through optometry giving sites, we're a partner with WCO and IAPB, the International Agency for Prevention of Blindness, to raise money for IR programs. WCO generates some resources for the advocacy campaigns of WCO. So in a nutshell, it is a very strong relationship that exists right now. And we hope that our common belief now between WCO and the Brian Holden Vision Institute, that we will locate optometry in the context of society's needs, is going to be a winning strategy because it's gaining a lot of momentum, it's gaining a lot of respect for this profession, it's gaining a lot of acceptability, and it's winning over a lot of people, And in the same time, it's getting to the similar achievements that we've had in the development world in terms of expansion of scope, etc., but through a different.
Now, as the chair of the next Congress, do you? I know you're in the middle of this one right now. Do you have any grand plans? Any directions you would like to see the Congress go?
Well, I would like the next Congress to have a concerted effort at drawing in Chinese and Indian optometrists. Because it's in India, it won't be a challenge, but Chinese optometrists. I mean, that's 2/6 of the world's population, and you walk around here, they are absent. I'm very proud that despite us not having a lot of resources in Africa, we are decently represented here. Our people have made an effort. If you look at the earning capacity in Africa of optometrists, it's a fraction of some of that. But people have put their money together and they're here. And I think we need to see a greater involvement of China. Because I think that if we really want to get the 25% reduction in visual impairment and blindness, as the Global Action Plan says, it's India and China where you're going to get that. Huge numbers, So that's what I'd like to see, and our plans are to focus on that, and even if it means bringing in translation, etc., in that we should do that. Like we saw the advantage of Spanish translation, and I'm so proud of WCO for having achieved that. The inclusiveness of this conference was amazing. You went to small presentations, there was a translator. It cost, it means you make lesser money out of your conference, but so be it, because people have come here, everybody has felt influenced. Because often our conferences slide into a kind of English arrogance. And then we just talk and forget there are other people in the room. That didn't happen. So the translation is one thing. I think that given the fact that this was the first one, there was a rush and whatever, we were fortunate that the Colombians have a very good social approach in terms of entertainment, etc. So that kept things going. I would like to see at the next one that there's more formal events, like for example, I'd like to see more tours arranged, encouraging people, maybe even at times you may even consider half day off so people can take it. Because I think a lot of the people who come here, especially the academics, the researchers, etc., they're not people who earn a hell of a lot of money, even if they're based in the US. They're not in private practice. People are trying in between all of that to squeeze in a break and see the place, etc. I just think we need to look at the whole program and how we can make this an overall mutually beneficial. Not only we as WCO get people to attend and contribute, but people leave the countries with an appreciation of those cultures, experiences. We'd like to have a bit more interaction between the schools of optometry in the host country and the delegates, so that the delegates who come from more privileged schools can understand what the needs, and hopefully that will lead to independent relationships. I don't think WCO and all of us need to control everything. I think we need to be the catalyst. Even the Brand Holding Vision Institute, we always say we are catalytic. We are not going to carry the world on our shoulders. We're going to help the world carry more people on the shoulders. So that, you know, the profession needs to carry people on the shoulders. So I think those are some of the things we'd like to see. You know, we're proud about the dominance of clinical content, and we won't change that. We're proud that there was a decent amount of educators on content and public health content, but I think we believe that the clinical content has to be the predominant content of this conference.
Wonderful. I look forward to coming to India in several years, and I look forward to helping however I can.
Don't
Thank
say
you.
several years, in 2 years.
In 2 years,
You'll
yes.
be surprised how fast that's going to go.
Oh, I know.
So we're having an handover ceremony from Medellin to Hyderabad today at the close, and thereafter we're having an handover ceremony today from Medellin to Hyderabad at the closing ceremony. And already we've had meetings this week. The work starts now. 3,000 from Medellin is a tough act to follow. I think the Colombians have raised the bar to an extent that's going to put pressure on the rest of us. But I think we're going to have a great conference, and we will be able to achieve more of the next one, because we have decided that whatever discussions took place, the recommendations that came out of this conference will be what we should hold the WCO accountable to.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you.